Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about trusting your intuition and how you can use your intuition to actually align with your desires, right? So, what this is about is we know that everything is energy, and we know that energy, like energy, tracks like energy. So, one side you got energy on this level, this frequency, you've got it on this frequency, and they match, then that's basically attraction. That's you matching your desire. So what happens is that we sometimes say, "Oh, I'm low energy today. I'm feeling low energy," and you feel like everything around you is kind of low, and you kind of birds of a feather flock together, and that whole idea of it's just a down day, and that happens, right? But now working your way, the way Abraham Hicks, the way Esther Hicks says, forking your way, up the ladder kind of thing. You're going up the emotional scale, so you might be down in the low emotion. Um, you won't know that unless you kind of feel your intuition. So your intuition is like your attitude, the feeling inside you. So aligning with that feeling first thing in the morning is most important, no matter what your desires are, because for you to start letting go, when you start letting go of your desires, that's when you release them to the universe and you send signals, and then they come back to you, right? So you can draw them back to you. So when you let go of your desires, you're using your intuition as a way to kind of feel, am I really letting go or am I holding on? Maybe intuition isn't the right word for it, but what I'm trying to say is that you're using that feeling inside you, and I'm using intuition as a kind of like a guidance system, right? So using your intuition can help because if you're intuitive, you're connecting to that dream state. You're connecting to the higher self. You're connecting to this part of you that's not as analytical. So your intuitive side would tell you things like about somebody that you've never met. So you may catch their vibes. You may have an intuition. So you want to kind of heighten your intuition by letting go and relaxing and really focusing on relaxing, which actually helps you focus on connecting to you. Because when you connect to you, you connect to everyone else, and you connect to relationships, you connect to the relationships that may be bringing you money, you may be connecting to relationships that bring you great partners or friends. You may be connecting to relationships that may help your health because who you're around also dictates your health by means of the feeling and vibration that people bring to you. That's also healthy vibrations, and there's negative vibrations, which bring ill health, right? So you really want to think about your physical is one part of it, but your intuition is the part that we kind of lose touch with. And that's kind of that side. If you think back into your life, I'm sure all of you will understand and relate to some time where I'll give you an example. For me, one time I was teaching a class at the gym on the other side of Toronto, and I live on the west side of Toronto, and I was on the east side, and I was finishing my class late, and I drove home. I was pretty tired. I was teaching all day, and I was pretty wiped out. And as I got in my car, it was a sports car. I was driving, and I honestly, like, I had the roof down. I was enjoying. I was in that state of like, wow, this is amazing. I'm really loving this summer night driving home in the convertible. It was just a great feeling. I don't have that car right now. I sold it, but I mean, I had that when I was younger, and I drove it, and it was so beautiful. I was so connected, and as I was connected, I was driving. I literally saw this truck in the lane next to me, but forward, and I was driving. And then all of a sudden, I went behind it. And when I went behind it, this truck, for some reason, had a flatbed, and there was a big like transformer on this truck, and it was sitting there. And I didn't even really look at it. I was so connected, I didn't care, right? And then what happened was I was just loving life. I was so happy. I have no idea why, but that I was just super happy, and I was connected. And what happened was my intuition told me to switch over the lane, and I just started like switching the lane, and I had no idea why. I had no reason to, and I just switched the lane. At that moment, that truck in front of me, the flatbed, hit a bump. That big transformer fell off the truck into the lane where I was, and then it crashed, and that truck slowed down, and that thing caused an accident behind me. Everyone seemed to have avoided it, but it caused, everyone to pull over and everything, right? And literally, I was so much like so connected, but my intuition told me to move out of the lane. And then as I was driving, it's crazy because I looked back, I glanced back in the rearview and I saw that happen, but I just kept driving. I just literally kept driving. And then after like driving maybe about another half kilometer, or maybe half a mile, and I was like thinking, wait a sec, what just happened there? And I was just like in this Zen moment, I think, or some type of disconnected. And I was like driving and I was looking back and I was like, wait a sec, that's pretty serious. I almost died, right? So what happened was, I went back and looked and everyone was fine, everything was great. And I just went home and I told my wife about it. But this was like my intuition that guided me. And had I not listened to my intuition, I may not have been here. So that I can truly believe. There's tons of stories like that I have. And I'm sure you guys can look at it too. So I would say finding that connection to your intuition, into that inside, that being connected, is going to also help you to get all of your desires. And you may, in that state, not even want your desire anymore. You may be like, hey, I want like $10 million. But then when you're in that state, you're like, why do I need $10 million? I have enough. Like maybe you get 100,000 and you're happy, who knows? Whatever the case is, my point is we want things because we think they're going to make us happy, because in those times of wanting, we may be feeling the lack of not having them, right? So what you want to do is connect to that place of, if I want my desires, do my desires want me? That's a big question right there. If like attracts like, then this is my desire, this is me, and yeah, I want that, but does this desire, does it want a relationship with me? Because it is a relationship. If everything is energy, then that's a relationship too, right? Think of everything as a relationship. So that thing is also energy. So how is that going to be connected to me on the same frequency? How is that? I'll be drawn to it, but it might be running away. But how do I get it so like I'm drawn to it and it's drawn to me, right? And how that is that like you let go. You really, really don't care about getting it, but you want it, obviously, but you don't want it that bad. You're still okay without it. You're appreciating every moment. So I know I rambled on a little bit here as I usually do, but I just want you guys to look at it and think of the words I said. Hopefully that helps you. But getting to your intuition, getting a hold of it, and understanding what it feels like to be intuitive. We all have intuition, and that connects to our higher selves, to the universe, to God, and you'll feel, even if you talk to people and you're feeling that intuition, you can even communicate to people by the feeling of your vibration. Now, why I say communicate is like the communication is by feelings. So you can just feel when you're with someone that, hey, you know what, man, I think I met that person somewhere before. There's something like really familiar about that person. Well, what's familiar is that you're feeling that vibe, and that vibe gives you that feeling that maybe I met that person before, but you're feeling that connectedness to them, right? Because we are all one. Anyways, guys, try it. You'll be surprised. Keep being intuitive. Keep practicing. More and more techniques on the way. Have a great day. Like, subscribe, share, please. I would really appreciate that.